Here I am sitting in my sukkah on the last day of the festival, wanting to talk to you about a church. Why a church, you wonder? Well, because the Church of England, in accordance with canon laws, insists that every Sunday there has to be services held morning and evening. And on account of the fact that they're finding it increasingly difficult to be able to attract numbers, a lot of services are being scrapped, which essentially is against the law. So Church of England is now looking to change the law and abolish services altogether on Sunday mornings. Kind of reminds me of the old Jewish joke about the synagogue that has a sign outside saying closed on Saturdays and Jewish festivals. So here's the question. Is the solution really about shutting down services? Or does the solution perhaps lie in looking at the core problem? Why are people not coming to services in their churches in the first instance? Has it anything to do with the fact perhaps that priests are, I don't know, boring? That they're standing up there doing little more than preaching the gospel, singing a few songs, and pretty much putting the few attendees in the pews to sleep? I officiated at a wedding some months ago in the small backwaters of Italy, and afterwards there were two non-Jews who approached me and said to me, "We wish priests would be more like you." And I'm like, "Why?" And they said to me, "Because you actually used humor when you were addressing bride and groom. We've never heard a priest use humor before." That flashed me back to another time when I had a devout Catholic in attendance at my synagogue for a bar mitzvah who made a very similar comment to me. I mean, come on. This is more about the fact that services themselves can be so profoundly boring that people remain uninspired and have therefore no interest to attend. So is the solution really to just shut services? Or is the solution perhaps to fire so many of those priests and hire new, more trendy, with-it ones that can bring a contemporary message to a modern-day audience? There are many Jews who only experience high holidays in their synagogues, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Is it any wonder that thereafter they choose not to come back again? Those are the single most somber days of the year. But here's the news. After Yom Kippur, just 1 week later or a few days after that, we're celebrating Sukkot. It's Simchat Torah. It's a time for joy. It's a time of happiness. We sit in the sukkah. We drink l'chaim. We have a good time. And starting tomorrow and tomorrow night and the day after is Simchat Torah, when we dance in the synagogues and we drink in the synagogues. Could you imagine that? Imagine drinking whiskey in your church. Imagine dancing in your churches. But that's what we do. And if Jews who only experience Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur would dare to come back for some of the Sukkot and certainly the Simchat Torah, you could be sure they'd start coming back much more regularly. Therein lies the challenge. The service doesn't have to be boring. The experience doesn't have to be boring. It can be upbeat. It can be exciting. It can be inspiring. Rabbis can be so much more enticing. And guess what? Priests need to learn about how to do that as well. So here's my message to the Church of England. By no means should you be shutting your doors. By no means should you be scrapping services on a Sunday. By all means should you be looking to either re-educate so many of your priests or look to hire a whole bunch of new ones who really know what they're doing to inspire the next generation. And my Sukkot message to all of you fellow Jews out there, if you've only experienced Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, come along tomorrow, come along the next day, find out how exciting, how much fun Judaism really is beyond the parameters of the Chazan dirge on the high holidays, beyond the confines of just the solemn and somber experience during Kol Nidre or Ne'ilah. See what it's like to dance to Sei L'chaim and have a real happy Chag, have a real happy Jewish experience, have a real happy year ahead. Stay happy, be inspired.